The Ford Mustang entered its 7th generation last year with what Ford calls the most exhilarating and visceral version of the Mustang yet. As before, the Mustang comes with a variety of different options including the V8 engine, 6-speed manual transmission, and a coupe or a convertible. One change for this all-new 2025 Ford Mustang is the discontinuation of the V6 engine. It is now available with the V8 and the EcoBoost 2.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine of this car. This 4-cylinder engine produces 315 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. For a car that weighs in at around 1.6 tons, this turbo 4-cylinder engine gets it going pretty quickly. Sure, it doesn't have the growly noise or the lazy torque of the V8, but the turbocharger spools up quickly and delivers peak torque at lower RPMs than the V8. This gives it a punchy acceleration in city traffic, but this engine also gives the impression that it doesn't really like to be revved at higher RPMs. It's much happier sitting at low to mid RPMs. Additionally, the optional active sports exhaust system can be set to quiet, normal, sport, and track. But if I'm being honest, there's barely any difference between the normal, sport, and track modes. They all sound pretty much the same, with the sport and track modes being just a little bit louder than the normal mode. Quiet mode, however, really does make this Mustang almost as quiet as the fake Mustang, the Marquis. With this car being powered by a 4-cylinder engine, it can be as frugal as a 4-cylinder should be. It is rated for 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers in a city and 7.1 liters per 100 kilometers on a highway. I managed to average 8 liters per 100 kilometers during my time with this Mustang, which involved mostly highway drives. Another change for this 7th generation Mustang is the absence of a manual transmission. But don't be alarmed, the 6-speed manual is still available with the V8, it's just not available with this EcoBoost engine, only the 10-speed automatic is. This transmission is pretty good. It provides smooth gear changes and generally it selects an appropriate gear when a burst of acceleration is demanded. However, it can be a bit slow to react, and worse still, there's no way of controlling it. Last year, the Mustang EcoBoost was available with a high-performance package which added paddle shifters on the steering wheel as part of the package. Sadly, in order to get these paddle shifters, you had to pay $6,500 Canadian for this option. This year, it doesn't look like it's available anymore. The V8 with the automatic does get paddle shifters, but otherwise, with this EcoBoost, you are out of luck when it comes to controlling the transmission. Once you start driving the Mustang EcoBoost on more entertaining roads, one of the first things that you'll notice is just how quickly the front end can change direction. It reminds me of a BMW because modern BMWs have similarly quick steering with a planted front end. This steering is vague in feel and you can increase the effort of it through a button on the steering wheel. But with this quick steering, the 2025 Ford Mustang drives more like a big sports car rather than a muscle car from a couple of decades ago. Away from a racetrack or winding mountain road, the car feels normal. The back end doesn't try to snap out of control for no reason, the light steering helps maneuver this big car in a tight parking lot, and it stays stable on highways. For a sports car such as this, the ride of the Mustang EcoBoost is very good. You can take long road trips or use it on a daily basis to and from work on potholed city streets without feeling like as though your teeth are being shattered. Last year, the EcoBoost was available with MagneRide adaptive dampers, but unfortunately not anymore. However, the ride is still good without the expensive dampers, and the seats are part of that ride equation. They have large bolsters to keep you in them, but without digging into your back. Additionally, the padding is plush and I didn't experience any pressure points. I've never had any issues with interior space of any Mustang that I've driven. They've all been spacious, and this 7th generation is no different. There's plenty of legroom and headroom for my 6'4" height in these front seats. There's also enough headroom for me to wear a helmet if I were to take this car on a track day, even with the top up. The back seats, however, are not as spacious. Like previous generations, the rear seats are suited for little kids only with very little head and legroom. The seats have bolsters to keep occupants from sliding around in them, and there are only 2 of them. Behind the seats, the 2025 Ford Mustang Convertible has 323 liters of cargo space. The rear seats can fold down for more cargo capacity, and underneath the trunk floor, there is a temporary spare wheel. The 2025 Ford Mustang EcoBoost Convertible starts at $45,830 Canadian, but the price can quickly climb if you're not careful with the options list. This demo car had an as-tested price of $58,270 Canadian. For the money, the Ford Mustang has the usual convenience features that vehicles costing as much as this are equipped with. It has heated front seats along with a heated steering wheel, synthetic leather or optional real leather trim seats, dual-zone automatic climate controls, backup camera, push-button start with keyless entry, and an ambient lighting system. What quickly increases the price of the Mustang EcoBoost are options such as the B&O sound system, Ford Copilot 360 Plus package, and the active exhaust system. As for that soft top, it can be raised and lowered in about 10 seconds. There is a latch that needs to be manually released before pressing the button to lower the soft top. The process is reversed when raising and securing the top. In the end, this new generation Mustang definitely feels more like a sports car. As the last of the Detroit Big Three, it's a good thing that this new generation is better to drive than the last. Sure, this EcoBoost is not to everyone's taste, but thankfully the V8 is still available. Unfortunately, you will have to spend quite a bit of money to get a properly equipped Mustang EcoBoost. Additionally, not having control over the transmission makes this car feel basic for those that want a thrilling driving experience, as Ford intended this car to be. Hopefully Ford will finally listen to us and give us paddle shifters as standard on the next year's model. If you'd like to know more about this 2025 Ford Mustang EcoBoost Convertible, I have a more detailed written review of it over on my website. You can find that link in the video description or click on the pop-up banner in the top right corner. In the meantime, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in the next one.